You're listening to the Wealth Mindset Show, where Hicks and Zerker Capital Management's team of finance professionals, portfolio managers, and a life coach come together to tackle complex topics in finance and retirement planning so you don't have to. From investment strategies and wealth management to tax planning, retirement income, and aligning your money with your values and purpose, the Wealth Mindset Show offers the tools to thrive.
All right. Hey. Welcome back to the Wealth Mindset Show, where the Hicks and Zerker team helps you manage wealth, navigate retirement, and make smart decisions for a secure, meaningful future. I'm Austin Wilson, Chief Investment Officer at Hicks and Zerker Capital Management.
I'm Josh Robb, Director of Wealth Management at Hicks and Zerker Capital Management. We're joined today by Chase Rose and Jessica Hinks, two advisors here, and we are going to be discussing the new Trump accounts. But before we do, just check in. How's everybody doing? Any fun stories or any new changes that you have? Austin, you were sharing a little bit before.
So our 18-month-old is starting to talk, and she's hilarious and cute. And my wife, Jenna, asked her, "Hey, Aubrey, where's Daddy right now?" Because obviously I'm here. And she went, "Irk."
So, what does that mean, though? Oh, work.
Yeah, minus the W.
I didn't get it the first time.
He's at Irk. A lot of letters in there, or too many. So
sometimes I feel that way about work, just Irk.
Yeah, just Irk. But yeah, so Daddy's at Irk today. What about you, Jess? What's going on?
You always ask me. I never have anything to say.
Pond stuff, you told me.
Pond stuff. I'm pulling a lot of weeds in the pond.
Getting ready for pond season.
New pond owner over here. I did not know how expensive ponds were. I thought it was free. I'm like, this is free water.
I don't have the chlorine or anything like a pool, but you're right. It is a lot of work for ponds.
Mm-hmm. Chase?
I get to spend a lot more time with Josh Robb outside of the office now. So I'm now umpiring Little League Baseball and junior high baseball and
you got to get softball in there. Is it?
Softball too. Yes. Yeah, softball and baseball. So that's a lot of fun.
I heard that Josh gets right in the ump's faces.
He does.
You know what?
He doesn't.
You got to be the spokesperson for your team, and you got.
We work together, and he still calls me Blue on the baseball diamond.
I am very respectful for umpires on the field.
Yes, he is.
But I'll be honest with you. You know, that's great because parents can be ridiculous, and getting good umpires to stick around is one of the hardest things. And so I see my role as being an encourager, especially the young ones. So you've seen a couple of them. You've been over there. We got some high schoolers that do it. There's no point when you have a 10-year-old to get upset about any call that's made in a game. Yeah. And so if anything, it's like, hey, thanks for coming. You did a great job, and walk away.
No, honestly, everyone's been great so far.
For the most part, yeah. Rec especially. I mean, most parents understand. Yep. There's no scouts there. It's not amounting to anything for a 10-year-old baseball game.
So it sounds like Josh's news is family baseball.
I live out on ball fields right now. So softball, baseball, we're involved on that. My oldest daughter, though, just finished up her debut in theater. So the school play, middle school, had a lot of fun. She really enjoyed it. So just something new. She, kind of went out of her comfort zone and did something she hadn't done before, and she really liked it.
So now we got to get all these baseball kids and theater kids enrolled into Trump accounts.
So that's right. So Trump accounts are the topic we're going to be talking about today. Relatively new, came out in the OBBB Act last year. One Big Beautiful Bill Act. The OBA.
One Big Beautiful Bill Act, which was
2025.
Yes, middle of last year. And this was one of the pieces of that big bill, but it didn't get a lot of attention early on because there was a lot of unknowns. But clarified,
absolutely.
We're going to talk a little more in depth about what we think of it, if we think it's a good idea, and kind of how you need to approach it.
I know there was originally some opposition about the name of the act and that it was unconstitutional or whatever the term they used.
The One Big Beautiful Bill?
Apparently they never changed
Or the Trump account.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about the One Big Beautiful Bill Act.
Yeah.
Oh.
They said, how could you be descriptive for something that's not fully partisan, you know?
They call
you could say that about everything.
They give every bill a nickname, and it had its own actual designation for them.
Yeah, the CARE Act.
Yeah.
You could say that was the same way.
Yeah, inflation
the Inflation Creation Act. I mean, sorry. All right. So yes, Trump accounts. Let's talk a little bit about what they are. It's kind of a quasi-new type of account for children. So Jess, what are the nitty-gritties of what a Trump account is?
Yeah. I mean, when it comes down to it, if there are children, any child under 18 can go open one. Children born in the next few years, so 2025 to 2028, actually get free seed money from the federal government, $1,000.
Yep.
Parents just go to trump.gov trumpaccounts.gov, or there's actually forms you can fill at the IRS, and you enroll your child, and then effective July 4th, they'll have an account in their name, and it will grow tax deferred until they're 18.
And tax deferred means that you will owe tax later on the withdrawal. So think of it like a regular IRA, traditional IRA. So a Roth IRA is after-tax money, so that's tax-free growth. Tax deferred just means you're postponing tax payments.
So is this going to be handled through the government, or can a traditional custodian open these?
At this time, I do not believe just traditional custodians can host Trump accounts.
Gotcha.
Yep. So the signing up registration is all on a specific government site.
Okay.
Yeah. And actually, to elaborate a little more about the taxability, so it's actually a bit
It's
of
a hybrid.
It's a combination
Yep.
of tax-free and tax-deferred. Tax-free isn't really a proper term either because it's money you've already paid tax
After
on,
tax.
and you're just getting those contributions back. So what that means is if you put $1,000 in, you're going to get that $1,000 back eventually without paying
You
tax
could.
out of the account.
Because
Like a Roth
the
IRA.
contributor, parent,
Exactly.
or whoever contributes has already paid tax.
Mhm.
So then the beneficiary will not owe tax on
Correct.
that dollar amount.
But
Yep.
the growth is going to be taxed at ordinary income when that growth comes out.
Yep.
So
So like you said, it is focused on thinking longer term, right? It's a lot like an IRA in a lot of ways, focus on long-term investment
Mhm.
for children
Mhm.
here. And obviously, I think at least one thing we can all agree on is that compounding is a great thing.
Yes.
We've talked about it many, many times, and giving new babies and stuff like that, and especially with this $1,000 seeds, a really decent head start.
Mhm.
Gives more time for compounding. Right?
And this is not the only seed money actually being added to these Trump accounts. Like, for instance, the Michael Dell Foundation.
Michael Dell,
So
you're
the computer
correct.
family, they are depositing $250 per child for every child in America below the age of 10. So they are really meant to capture these people who did not get the free Trump seed because it's 2025 and below. They have to be in a zip code that has an average income of below 150,000. So maybe not some of the big cities, again, in those specific sectors, but like Findlay, Ohio, for instance, we're below that. My kids are all going to get $250
There
from
you
Michael
go.
Dell.
I know.
So,
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Mhm.
I know. I was thinking my youngest just missed the 2025 cutoff. She was born in late 24.
Yep.
Mm,
Yep. I have an 11-year-old. I have an 11-year-old. Just missed it.
Yeah, that's-
yeah. And it is, so you might not know by just reading the name of the account, the Trump account, but it is a retirement account theoretically. So it's earmarked for retirement. There are things you can use it for once the child obtains the age of majority, like that you can take your basis or your contributions out for a number of things and not pay tax on that, as we talked about earlier. But the whole goal here is for these dollars to be used for the child's
Yes.
retirement.
Yeah.
And I think most of us have a theory that this is to reduce people's reliance on Social Security, because we all know that those Social Security has its own problems. But yeah, it is for the child's retirement. And you can open retirement accounts for a minor, but they need earned income.
Mhm.
Right.
So for this account, you actually do not need any earned income.
And that's the key differentiator between Roth IRAs and these Trump accounts, is that the Trump accounts do not need earned income in order for someone to contribute. So
Yeah.
truly an infant, can add dollars into it.
Yeah.
And that's really what helps this account, is that the start point becomes so much earlier because you don't have a lot of 1-year-olds running around with part-time jobs. And so
know.
if you can start saving, you mentioned the compounding, is this money goes in and you, in a sense, are giving you about 18 years head start than what most people would
Or
normally
more.
have.
Yes.
Mhm.
Actually,
Yep.
usually more if people wait till after college or whatever to start
Mhm.
investing. Earlier is the better, because those early dollars are the heavy duty compounders.
That's right.
Yeah. And this account, like we just talked about, since you don't need earned income, but you can't contribute after you become an adult. So it's really just a head start account. It's really what this account is.
Right.
And as far as who's contributing to the account, because a 1-year-old who doesn't have earned income, they're not putting their own money in, right? So anyone can contribute. Parents, grandparents, there's an annual contribution limit of $5,000.
And that's
However,
beneficiary.
per beneficiary,
Yep.
when governments, so the federal, state, or local government, or foundations like the Michael Dell Foundation, when they contribute, it does not contribute towards the annual contribution limit. So if the government's putting $1,000 in for that period of time, babies that are born within that period, there's another $5,000 that could go in for that year. So that's another aspect of the plan.
Good. And then the difference between that, we mentioned IRAs and then 529s. 529s are designed for education, so they're very focused in on that. Whereas this account is designed for retirement.
Right.
So while it does give you some ability earlier in your life, 18 to the early phase of life, to do some withdrawals, it's really not designed for education. It's designed for retirement long term.
This does not replace the need for a 529 account. The 529s are still a lot more flexible, and you can oftentimes get the state tax deduction as well.
And that is key. And we mentioned there are no deductions on this contribution
because
all
it's
this
after
money.
tax.
Yeah, all this money is so you don't get to say, "Hey, I put $1,000 into my kid's Trump account.
Right.
I'm reducing my income." Nope, that is not a deduction on your tax return.
Have you ever thought about how your financial choices reflect what truly matters to you? At Hicks & Zerker Capital Management, we believe that integrating your values and dreams with your financial future is key to achieving peace of mind and confidence. When you engage in deep conversations with us, you'll start to see how your money can support the things that matter the most in your life. Our holistic approach means that your financial plan is more than just numbers. You'll have a dedicated team of professionals tailored to your unique needs, all focused on crafting an investment portfolio designed to help you achieve your specific goals. Plus, our on-staff retirement life coach offers guidance to empower you toward a fulfilling retirement that goes beyond just financial security. Ready to transform your relationship with money? Join us at hzcapital.com and let's embark on this journey together. Now, back to the show. So the 529, better for education, like we just talked about. Trump accounts may be more of a long-term head start to retirement, a little bit of a shift there. So the question you might be asking is, this all sounds too good to be true. What's the catch? And we kind of hit on it a little bit, but the tax situation is not everyone comes out ahead on this, right?
No.
Because it's not tax-free and tax-free growth and tax-free all the time. It's not pre-tax. It's not saving you tax now. It's kind of a hybrid.
Yeah.
So there is tax implications. Only your contributions can be withdrawn tax-free, just like a Roth IRA. And then obviously the growth plus any government contribution, that's going to be taxable later.
Yeah.
So there's no free lunch. Right?
Yeah. There's no incentive for the contributor from a tax standpoint to add money into this account versus a traditional IRA. If you're in the income limits, you actually get to deduct that from your income. So you're doing it to head start your kids' savings.
Yep.
That's the only incentive at that point.
Yeah.
And then the taxes on the back end are, you don't know what your kids' tax brackets will be later. So you may have been better off giving them money in a taxable account, paying capital gains versus a high income.
Right.
You don't know the future, but that tax deferred growth is nice to have along the way.
Yeah, other than just normal taxes, which is a part of life, I don't really see any gotcha here, right? This is just a Head Start account. I don't think there's any red flags.
And the other one, which again isn't a red flag or a bad thing, is there are restrictions on the use of this. And if you don't follow the restrictions, there's penalties.
Yep.
Just the same as IRAs, just the same as 529s. If they're going to give you some advantage, they're going to put parameters around it. So how you withdraw the money before you're at retirement age matters. And there's some penalties associated with that.
Yep. So obviously, you would not be able to grow your money if it was sitting in cash very well for an extended period of time. So this stuff's going to be invested within these accounts, which is great, right? That's how you can have the ability to compound this over time. They are going to offer things like very few options, but some low-cost index fund options. I think particularly focusing on U.S. stocks is kind of the main focus that they're going to be having there, at least initially. So that's what you're going to be able to choose in terms of the investment options within the account. So you're not going to be able to pick some stocks. You're not going to be able to pick crypto. You're not going to be able to speculate and trade options. But once you turn to be an adult, you have options to potentially roll this over into convert it to a Roth IRA, where then you'll have all kinds of options at your disposal there. So again, it's supposed to be super simple, give you the benefit of compounding without having to think about it over time. And then in the future, you can make better choices with what you want to do with it.
And I want to emphasize what Austin just said, because he said, once you're 18, you can roll it over to a Roth IRA. That's like one of the most exciting potentials of this Trump account.
Right.
Because I don't know about you, but when I was 18, I did not have a lot of earned income. My tax bracket was very low.
Right.
So, all this money gets put in tax deferred or, no tax deduction on the front end. But, if you're 18, you're in that 12% tax bracket, convert it all then. And then it gets to grow tax free for the next 80 years if you want. That's the hack.
Yeah, that's really where it is. And, understanding and communicating that with your kid. Because again, once they're an adult, you as a parent have zero control over it, right? That's once it's there, it's in their hands. So educating and communicating, because once they get that Roth, they could take a withdrawal out of there and create penalties and stuff if it's within the 5 years of conversion. But in a sense, they could undo all your hard work.
Right.
And so that one thing you miss here is any kind of control post that 18 point, right? It becomes their account at that point.
Mm-hmm. I also want to emphasize a point that you made earlier, Austin, about what you can invest in these accounts. So we talked about they're limited to low cost index style ETFs, so very passive investments, which is, I think, very great for these type of accounts because we've talked about in the past, the investor sometimes can be their own worst enemy.
True.
And so you have this opportunity available to get a head start for these children. The last thing you'd want to do is to start doing some stock trading and you're just picking really bad investments.
Before I learned that this was limited to index funds, I was just picturing a bunch of dads doing meme stocks for their 2-year-olds. And I was like, oh no. So I was really relieved to see that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Chase, let's talk a little bit about some numbers.
Sure.
You're a numbers guy.
Absolutely.
We talked about how this could honestly give people a really great head start, and if you don't touch it, be a decent component of some big numbers at the end of their life.
Yeah.
Because of compound interest, even with not contributing a lot of money. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So we ran a case for Billy Bob.
Bob, the child born
in 2025.
In 25
yeah,
or
so
6.
He gets a free $1,000 of seed money from the federal government. And we're going to assume Billy Bob doesn't have any additional contributions into this account. Okay. So he got a $1,000 deposit at birth, and he used a passive index S&P 500 investment fund, and he kept that invested until he retired. So it's a 8% on average growth, to be conservative. I think normally it's 8 to 10, but an 8% annual growth at 65. If he has that $1,000 invested, he'd have about $150,000 at age 65. However, when you look at it from a taxable standpoint, $1,000 is tax-free, and the other $149,000 will be ordinary income when he takes it out, which is fine, right? He still grew that income tax deferred.
Yeah.
But that's kind of a realistic scenario, and that's what you can expect over a 65-year period.
Yeah.
And it's not our job to conjecture about how that'll supplement Social Security.
Correct.
So, not our job to conjecture.
Exactly.
Or if most people will have any dollars left over by the time they get that age anyway.
No kidding. But yeah, in the basic sense, the government's saying, hey, we want to do our best to give people a chance to have a head start. And that alone, that $1,000 is a pretty reasonable amount of money. Now, that's in future dollars. Yeah. So
it's $149,000 you didn't have to earn.
Exactly.
So
100%.
That's a win. That's a win. So let's talk about the implications of this. Should you actually use this, Josh? I'm going to give you the floor because I know what you're going to say.
It really depends.
Oh, man, I'm shocked.
But yeah, the answer is if you're looking for the opportunities to find ways to help kickstart your kids' retirement savings, this new account is probably the most focused in on that goal.
Yeah.
Right? And so you just have to then prioritize that goal with what other goals you have. So you have retirement savings, you have obviously your short-term stuff, emergency funds, anything your goal shorter than that.
Yep.
But then you also have your college if you're hoping to do anything for your kids. That just, where does this fit in priorities? And you got to decide for yourself, where am I at on my other goals to see how that fits in? It may be, you know what, I can't put the full 5 in, but I'm at least going to sign up the account and get the free 1,000. That doesn't affect any of my other goals if you fit that window. But then from there, it just depends on, hey, if this is a top priority for me, I got to make that happen.
Yeah.
Or, you know what, for right now, I need to do this 1, 2, 3 goals, and then I'm going to get to that one. So it really depends on your situation. But if your priority is, I would like to set my kids up financially for their retirement, this account is probably one of the best designed for that.
Yeah.
No further comment.
No thoughts on that? Yeah, well, that's a Trump account for you.
There you go.
TBD coming too soon to an account near you in
July 4th. Happy birthday, America. That's when they're live.
$250.
So Michael Dell is making $250 contribution on the 250th birthday.
I wonder if that matters. Did he plan on that?
Okay, I actually never connected those dots.
Huh?
I don't know.
He could have said 300, but that wouldn't make sense because it's 250.
There it is. Solved it. We solved
That's right.
it all.
Happy birthday, America. Have some money. All right. Well, that's Trump accounts. There will be more on that, I'm sure, as they start getting implemented here later this year. But if you found any value in our conversation, don't forget to subscribe to the Wealth Mindset Show on whatever platform you're on so you never miss an episode. And visit us at thewealthmindsetshow.com for more resources, show notes, and things like that. Now, if you're interested in what we do at Hickson Zuercher Capital Management, visit hzcapital.com. Check us out there. Also, follow us on social media. We're pretty active on there, and we'd love to connect. Otherwise, we'll talk soon. Have a good one.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for joining us at the Wealth Mindset Show, where we tackle the complexities of finance and life planning to help you align your wealth with your values. We hope today's conversation provided value and clarity as you navigate your financial journey. Your hosts work for Hickson Zerker Capital Management, and all opinions expressed by them or any podcast guest are solely their own and do not reflect the opinions of Hickson Zerker Capital Management. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon for investment decisions. Clients of Hickson Zerker Capital Management may maintain positions in the securities discussed in this podcast. There is no guarantee that statements, opinions, or forecasts provided herein will prove to be correct. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Indices are not available for direct investment, and any investor attempting to mimic index performance would incur fees and expenses that could reduce returns. Securities investing involves risks, including the potential loss of principal, and there is no assurance that any investment plan or strategy will be successful.